Hello, everyone. I'm Vinod, and welcome to Career Bold. Today's conversation is going to be a very interesting thing, which many job seekers are probably asking. The question is, why is it so difficult to find a job nowadays? And what can you do to get better? So we'll go through a bunch of reasons. I got probably around 10 to 12 reasons. I want to talk about why the job market is so bad and what you can do to get better at the job search process. So first point, the economic conditions are not looking great. So if you're looking, especially at the tech sector, what's happened is that there's been massive overhiring, which has happened in the last couple of years. There was a boom during the COVID crisis when all the tech companies had a lot of users coming to them. So they decided that they're going to hire as many people as possible. And that was a wrong strategy. What seemed right then is now no longer true. Now they're trying to let go of all those people they hired earlier. So there's been waves of layoffs. What's happened during this layoff is that as you keep firing employees, your revenue per employee number, that's a metric, and that keeps increasing. So when it comes to valuations in the stock market, if the revenue per employee keeps increasing, that means that you're more profitable and you get rewarded really well in the market. So I can give you another example. Meta, the company which was earlier Facebook, went through something called the year of efficiency. They laid off as many people as possible, and they decreased the number of employees. Since employee cost is a major cost for most companies, the profits dramatically increase if you lower the number of employees. So Meta price has gone up by 3 to 4 times in the last 1 year. And again, this means that it's worked out for companies like Meta, and other companies copy from each other. So when they see that Facebook is done well using this strategy, they're also like, let me also do this. So that's what's happening. So the problem with this approach is that the existing employees within the company get overloaded, they get too much work, and one person is probably doing at least 50% more work, if not 100% more work. So they're doing double the work for the same salary. So it's not a great time to be working in a company, but again, that's the nature of the world we are in. Also, the bank interest rates in the US has gone up a lot. So which means that if bank interest goes up, that means that you have to invest in projects which are extremely profitable. When it was zero, then you could invest in any project you wanted. Now that it's at 5 to 5.5%, you can only invest in certain projects, which means that there are very few new projects being taken up. There are very few new projects. That means that there's less innovation. There's also less new hiring happening. So again, there's much lesser demand for new talent. Inflation has also meant that companies are trying to cut costs as much as possible. And one easy way to cut costs is to decrease the employee cost. And one easy way to do it is either layoffs or freeze the hiring process. So what can you do about it regarding economic conditions? This is beyond your control. It's linked to the macroeconomic environment. It's linked to the economy. It's linked to the company and so on. What I would say is that it's difficult. It's hard. So understand that this is a cycle. What goes down is going to come up again. What goes up is going to come down again. So there were periods like 2002, like 2010, and so on, where there were market recessions. They did recover later. So even if the pain lasts, just remember that it's going to be temporary and things will get better in the near future. So wait it out. Keep searching. I'm sure you'll find the job you're looking for, but don't get disheartened because it's not about you, it's about the market. Second point is about job market competition. Because of layoffs, there are too many people in the job market, a lot of applicants. And working in IIT as a professor, I know that a lot of companies are saying that they need people with work experience. So very good internships is a good sign that freshers can get some sort of job. So if you don't have high quality work experience or high quality internships, it's very difficult to find jobs for the entry level. And if you're experienced, again, there's just so many of people around. So companies are always asking, how much do you need in terms of compensation? And that's going to be a major factor which dictates who will make it versus who do not. A lot of overqualified people are also applying for jobs. So if the job market is so high, then what can you do about it? So some things I really suggest is that when you look out for jobs, do not apply directly on the website because your chances of getting in through a direct application is around 1 to 2%. Use a referral because then your chances go up to 30 to 35%. of getting through the first round shortlisting process. So highly recommend that you reach out to people, network. Do not reach out to too many companies at the same time. Don't use one resume for 100 companies. It's not going to work out. Better strategy would be to focus on, say, 10 companies, do a good job with a lesser number of companies, with a more manageable number of companies, network on LinkedIn, reach out to people, connect with them, ask for a referral. That's really the way to go forward, and customize your resume to every company. When you write your cover letter, customize your cover letter, make it unique for that company. Spend time, 1 or 2 hours, 1 hour on a cover letter, at least 1 hour customizing your resume. Identify the skills as defined in the job description and use the same language of the skills on your resume. These are easy ways to get noticed. Don't worry about too many applicants. Do what you can and what is under your control. Keep doing it, and there's definitely going to be a matter of hit or miss. So you might miss out on a couple of times, but you get better and better the more time you spend in customizing your resume, preparing for interviews in advance. And I've covered this on my channel, so you may want to check up a couple of videos on how to prepare for star interviews, how to write a great resume, and so on. So follow these tips and keep networking. That's the best way to get into these companies. The third thing is about technological challenges. There's a lot of automation and AI which are driving people out of their jobs. If you're an entry-level employee, yes, you got to be worried. If you're experienced employees, I don't think AI is going to replace experienced jobs right now. So don't worry too much. AI is not about you. It's not going to impact your jobs. If you're an entry-level employee, I would say that get more internships, get more work experience, contribute to open source projects, and just volunteer for work. More work you do, more internships you have under your belt, the better your chances of getting jobs. Let's look at some other industry trends, which is that there's a growth of a gig economy. So there's a lot of temporary hiring happening because companies do not want to necessarily hire full-time employees. So do consider temporary jobs and not always full-time jobs. There are also some industries which are not hiring, like tech industries, but also other industries like logistics, transportation, fast-moving consumer goods. They are hiring people. Operations, they're all hiring people. So even if, for example, being a computer science engineer, you cannot find jobs in IT companies and tech companies, you could find jobs in data analytics in, say, manufacturing companies, in operations, in tech, in transportation. Transportation is a great place where you can leverage some of the skills and be a superstar in the workplace. So think about those different jobs, different locations as a place you want to work in. For example, if you're based out of Bangalore, you might find good jobs in, say, Pune. You might find good jobs in other locations. Be open to relocating. Likewise, if you're in the US, if you're in California, you might find great jobs in the Midwest. You might find good jobs in Texas and Georgia and so on. So be open to different sectors and different locations. I would say that the hiring process, this is point number 6, which is that the hiring process is also getting crazier. And there is a lot of background checks. There's an extensive interview process. Companies want to make sure that you are a perfect fit before you join. And I would say that don't always bet on one company. Apply to a bunch of companies. Prepare for all these interviews and do your job. It's only a matter of time before you get a role. Remember that it's not just about you searching for jobs. It's also that companies also have some open positions. It may not be the same number as before, but they do have open positions. They need people. So prepare in advance, and the more you prepare, the higher your chances are in terms of getting a job. There's one more trend, which is, again, the geographical factors, something you got to factor in. So companies have understood that there are some localities like Bangalore, like Silicon Valley. These are very, very expensive. And because compensation is defined by the job market in that specific locality, they have to pay more in, say, Bangalore than, say, a place like Chennai or Coimbatore or Pune. So you may not be finding jobs in some regions, but it doesn't mean that there are not jobs in other regions. So be open, be flexible. Relocation, like I mentioned earlier, shouldn't be a problem if you're serious, because it's just a matter of 1 or 2 years of working in a different location. Market will again pick up and jobs will open up in the area you wanted to be in. So if you wanted to be in Bangalore, but if you're working in, say, Chennai, You will find jobs in Bangalore after 2 years when the market picks up, and then you can again come back and work in Bangalore and at higher compensation. So it's just about how do you manage 1 or 2 years. Just get by. Market will change later. Okay, let's move on to the next point. So in terms of educational and experience, what's happened is that companies are selective. So earlier there used to be around 300, 400 applicants for one job, and right now it's around 1,500. I've even heard of 3,000 applicants for one job. What will surprise you is that most of these people apply directly on the website and do not use a referral process. So use a referral process to get in. That's an easy way to get noticed. And just understand that everybody is looking for the best possible candidate. So network in advance, reach out to recruiters, reach out to people working in the company, get referrals, talk to people from within the company. These are all signs that you're very interested in the company. The more interested you are, the more your chances of getting in. If you are an entry-level candidate, again, I would strongly recommend that you try to get as much exposure as possible. If you're okay with it, I would say volunteer to work with small companies, even work for free if necessary, because the more work experience you can show under your belt, especially when you're a student, the higher your chances are in terms of getting a well-paid job later. Use LinkedIn as a way to network. I think it's a great tool, but there's also other ways to network. You could reach out to people using a college alumni list, reach out to people, connect with people directly. A lot of jobs are not advertised. It's called a hidden job. So they just fill it through referrals and people that the employees know. So reach out to employees, talk to them, see if you have seniors working there, friends working there, relatives working there. Reach, connect, talk, and get a referral. That's a great way to get in. Labor market policies are changing. For example, if you're based in the UK, there's just a lot of changes with the visa laws, regulations, and getting jobs is proving to be more difficult. So be aware of what's happening in the market. Be aware of what's happening in the technology world. Be aware of what's happening in geographies like US, UK, and so on. There's a lot more competition for jobs. So you prepare yourself in terms of getting as many skills as possible and asking yourself, do you meet the expectations which the company wants for that specific job? In terms of personal factors, I would say that do a skill mapping analysis. So identify the job description of the company, look at the skills and ask yourself, do you have those skills? If you don't have the skills, do not apply for those jobs. If you have the skills, only then go forward in applying. So these are some easy tips for you to stand out. Let me know in the comments below if these made sense and if you have some other questions at the back of your mind. And till next time, folks, bye-bye, cheers.